solving equations. When you are evaluating or writing an equation, that's like building something, and you do everything in the correct order of operations, parentheses first, exponents, multiply and divide, and then finish with adding and subtracting. But when you solve an equation, that's like taking it apart, and you have to do everything backwards. So instead of parentheses being first, they're going to be last, and instead of adding and subtracting being last, they're now going to be first. Let's start with an easy one. 16 minus 8x is 18. Now normally we do the multiplication first, but because we're doing everything backwards, we need to take care of this 16, and to get rid of that you have to subtract 16 from both sides. So you end up with negative 8x is equal to positive 2. Now we have negative 8 times x. The opposite of that is to divide both sides by negative 8, so the x is by itself. Negative 8 divided by negative 8 is going to leave 1x equals 2 over negative 8. 2 divided by negative 8 is the same as negative 2 over 8, and we can simplify that to negative quarter. Check your work by substituting. Negative quarter times negative 8 is positive 2, plus the 16 does make 18. Here we have the equation 1 8/10 x plus 2/10 x minus 2.5 equals negative 4. Now before we start doing the opposite, let's combine like terms to make this a simpler problem. So those two like terms combine to 2x minus 2.5 equals negative 4. Now we're doing everything opposite, meaning adding and subtracting are taken care of first. So we do the opposite of negative 2.5, which is to add 2.5 to both sides. That leaves on the left side just 2x, because the negative 2.5 and the positive 2.5 cancel out. And on the right side, negative 4 plus 2.5 is negative 1.5. Now it should be easy because it's a one-step equation. You have 2 times x, so you divide both sides by 2 so that the x will be by itself. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so we have 1x equals negative 7/500. We have 2 times the quantity, 1 minus 3x plus 2 equals negative 14. Now normally we would do the parentheses first, but we do those last now when we solve. So we're going to take away 2 from both sides to take care of that plus 2. That leaves us on the left side with 2 times the quantity, 1 minus 3x equals negative 16. Now you have a couple options. You can distribute to get rid of the parentheses, or you can recognize that 2 times that quantity can have the 2 canceled out by doing the opposite and dividing both sides by 2. So we end up with 1 minus 3x equals negative 8. We need to cancel out the positive 1 by subtracting 1 from both sides. So we end up with negative 3x, because that minus sign belongs to the 3x, equals negative 9. Then we have a one-step equation and we do the opposite. We divide both sides by negative 3, so that x is equal to 3. Check your work with substitution.